is brought to you by Barton Community College. Explore your future and get started now. Visit gobarton.com.
Okay, Sports Day in 3, 2, 1.
Go! Royals on a bomb from Michael Massey in the first.
I think Q said it earlier today. You know, when this season began, no one believed in this team except the guys in this room, and that's really more important than anything.
Handoff goes to Pirine. Behind right guard, trying to press forward. A bunch of bodies into the end zone. Touchdown, Kansas City. Samaj J. Pirine, his first touchdown as a Kansas City Chief.
There's probably not a better coach. There's probably not a better quarterback to survive it. But all of that being said, I think that they end up looking around and trying to add to their roster.
Franklin, Little, Jordan Humphrey, and Sutton with Dulcich flanked wide right. Nix takes a shotgun snap, four-man rush, throws back in the end zone. Sutton's there, makes the catch, touchdown, Denver.
They're great coaches, but they're better people, you know, and they all bring their own style, their own flair to it, you know, and so they all do such a great job, but, you know, they'll show up in the summer at the weight room. They're not getting paid for it, just like we've been blessed with great kids.
Like I tell these young guys all the time, there's they do a lot of things behind the scenes that helps us in practice, and it doesn't always show, and this was finally an opportunity to get those guys involved under the Friday Night Lights.
Keegan Johnson in motion towards the formation. Back to throw. Avery Johnson, good protection's got him in. It is caught. Touchdown, Kansas State. Right at the goal line. Jace Brown. And K-State's lead is now 20-13.
We had some coaches challenge some people. We had some players challenge people. And the biggest challenge was basically when we play together and play all in and pound the stone one play at a time and not worry about what happened before, what could happen next, what could happen in a month, what could happen at any time, we have a chance to be a pretty good football team.
Hey, good afternoon. Welcome to Sports Day on 1590 KVGB, 95.5 FM, the talk of the town. Monday, Sports Day show. Steve Webster with you. Mike Corson is in. The legendary Sean Bear and the legend in waiting, Mike Hesher, running the show today because it is Landon Winkler's birthday. You're such a kind guy, Hesh. Giving a guy his birthday off.
Winkler. Where is he? It's his day off.
Yeah, your mic's on, Mike, if you want to talk, so that you can do that. Okay, all right.
I hit the camera. That wasn't a good thing.
Well, okay, very good.
Yeah, I took the day off on my birthday, so I think I should give him the day off as well, right?
No.
Oh, okay.
You're the boss.
Hesh, you work? No. I just show up. Show up, punch the clock.
That's what it's all about. Okay, on the show today, well, the aforementioned Sean Bear is in. We'll recap Friday's homecoming game at Memorial Stadium between Great Bend, Wichita North. Great Bend Tribune Sports Editor Jim Mizunas will be in. Mike Corson on the prowl with Great Bend cross country coach Lyles Lashley. All the Monday sports headlines and the sounds of the weekend, and we'll start with a call on KVGB. The 3-run homer yesterday in the first inning by Michael Massey, giving the Royals a 3-0 lead. They were already in the playoffs, but they beat the Braves 4-2, and the Royals will play in the playoffs tomorrow against the Baltimore Orioles. We'll have that for you. 2:30 pregame from the Royals Radio Network. First pitch a little bit after 3 o'clock as Kansas City is in the playoffs. First time since 2015. And the guy who did it all, owner John Sherman, saying most pundits and fans who didn't think KC had a chance at this kind of rebuild. Hesh, you have the numbers.
I do?
Yes.
What numbers do I have?
Predicted wins.
Oh, okay. Obviously, Mike Corson was on top, and he was a game off.
Yeah.
84-78. Did they not win 85?
These are 2-year cumulative
estimates.
So
that's true.
So he had about that same number last year when he picked when they won 56, but that's okay.
We got to give credit to Matt Wright. Oh, heavens. Matt Wright had 81 and 81, and he was the only other one above 500.
Okay.
So, yeah.
Well, who
and,
else?
of course, Steve Webster came in at 79 and 83.
See, I was there.
some idiot named Mike Kesher was
the Dr. Doom pick.
69 and 93. Let's see. Jeremy Combs, 76 and 86. Mizunas coming in, 77 and 85. Mike Warren, he should have known better, 75 and 87. Cole Rife was 74 and 88. And then Connor Nichols, 77 and 85.
Dr. Dooms is. Hey, how about the Chicago White Sox? Did I not say last week those guys weren't going to want to lose another game? Disruptors.
I remember you saying that, the exact quote.
Okay, but did you know, I had this morning, the White Sox lost the most games, 121.
They did get to 121.
Yes, they did. But the New York Mets lost the highest winning percentage or the lowest winning percentage because they played 2 less games that year and they only won 140. So it's kind of a
They share the record.
They share the record.
I would say very weird Friday night. Got the Panthers in a blowout game, so I ducked out early. I'm listening to the boys on the radio, watching the Royals lose. But then you learn that Minnesota's down, so now it's like a 45-minute waiting game. Are the Royals going to the playoffs? So you didn't get that walk-off hit, hey, pile at the mound type deal. It was sitting around in the locker room. Everybody's done, showered. And then 45 minutes later, they get the...
But you were confident, though. You went back, you put up plastic around your house. So when they ended up clinching that, when Minnesota lost, you started to shake the champagne bottle.
I didn't this time, but I will tell you 2014 wild card game, there was definitely some champagne mess. I think it was out in the street.
You got to be careful when you have pets, though. I mean, if that cork comes flying out, you hits.
But don't you feel better about yesterday that they actually went in the front door instead of backing into that playoff spot?
They needed some help down the stretch. I would have liked to see them win out. I do like that Detroit lost. They were saying Baltimore is kind of stumbling in on their own, but they're 7-3 in the last 10.
They can hit the ball, so that's, I don't know. I'd read Houston, he been in the ALCS 7 straight years?
Pitching.
And Baltimore's pitching has not been very good lately.
I definitely like the Orioles matchup more than Houston.
Okay, we'll find out tomorrow. There is baseball taking place today in Iuka Be careful if you're headed south on 281 because the Hustlers
hitting bombs.
They need to. Okay, so it's 6-5. The Paradise Punch-Outs lead. Okay, I need either a stolen base, a save, or a win, and then hope Paradise doesn't do anything in those categories, which would put the Hustlers in a tie, and the Hustlers have the playoff tiebreaker.
Have you ever seen the movie The Possums? It sounds very much like the movie The Possums.
You're going to go down there one of these days. We're going to go down there and watch. You'll see the men come on the field.
I'd love to see that.
So Francisco Lindor already 0 for 1 today. Yep. Michael Harris is 0 for 1. Gosh. So it's still up in the air.
Tough day.
You can go. It's 1790 on the AM dial. KRAP Radio in Iuka carrying the World Series game.
We're full of it.
Mac Davis, wasn't that the guy that was in Possums that was calling the games? I think it was. Might have had a little happy juice.
So, Hesh, if I win the World Series again, I'm not coming to work tomorrow. So, I want you to know that.
Okay, thank you.
It wasn't like 2 years ago when I got to watch the final day of the season because I had been diagnosed with COVID, so I couldn't go to work. So I had 2 TVs on the patio, the laptop, MLB Network.
Wait, so normally I've heard people say the boogeyman. I think you call it the booger man.
It's a booger man.
No.
He's got a nasty breaking pitch.
Spitballing it.
Oh, boy. Okay, so the Royals, that's exciting. Hesh, how do you, I go to Mike Corson first. You said it was football season last Thursday. You said you had shifted from baseball season.
I had to protect myself. I get emotionally invested. I watch these guys 20 hours a week, 2 7-game slides in a month. At the end of the season, no, there was no wiggle room. So I did. I put my flag out probably Thursday or Friday, and they lost 1 time since then. So staying out.
How's that make you feel?
There's still baseball to watch, and that's all I need. The ones that I care about, I will watch the playoffs, but With the Royals, it's a little more heavily invested. I sweat a little bit more.
Just think, it's going to be a whole new generation of Royals fans now who actually get to see the Royals play on television.
ESPN2, the first 2 games, and that's what we talked this morning. All 3 of these games are out in Baltimore. It's pivotal that they get this win so they can get a couple playoff games at home, because that's a whole nother experience when Kauffman hosts a game in October.
I know I'm a young guy, but is this the first year that we've had a 3-game wild card?
Last year was the
first year.
I quit paying attention in July last year, so I didn't know that.
You made it that
You
far?
made it that far?
Sometimes they bring up the new guys.
Atlanta, New York tied 0-0 after 2 innings. Just all come together, sports day world. Pray for a stolen base from Francisco Lindor or Michael Harris, please.
Football season, Webby.
Okay. 1:30 tomorrow, Detroit at Houston, then Kansas City at Baltimore. We will have San Diego, whoever they play, tomorrow in our game, ESPN game on KVGB. So will it be Atlanta, will it be New York, or will it be Arizona? We'll decide. Okay. NFL yesterday, just another Sunday afternoon. Not really too concerned. Chiefs win 17-10. The call on B1043, the point. Samaje Perine, 2-yard touchdown run, put the Chiefs up 17-10. Defense does the rest, but an injury to Rashee Rice. Matt Hasselbeck. Probably the Chiefs will be adding to their roster. So once again, looks like Travis Kelce's going to have to pull up the old bootstraps and be the key guy again.
I only watched a little bit, turned it right on as they made the big pass. The first 55-plus yard pass in 2 years over the top to the Worthy. And they're saying because of Mahomes is trying to go downfield more, he's kind of neglecting guys like Travis Kelce.
Well, Kelce had a pretty good day yesterday.
Yeah, so as some of these changes happen, and they'll eventually figure out that, he's still kind of a star out there.
I'm starting to see they just put it out for a little bit, and then they take it back down. Some Bronco flags around. They're starting to feel the magic now.
Hesh, when's the last time they won 2 in a row? Has it been a couple seasons?
I think they did 2 in a row last year.
So Elway versus Kosar back then?
The
Broncos, they did have Peyton Manning for a while, if you don't forget.
The call on KOA in Denver. Bo Nix hits Cortland Sutton for the game's only touchdown in the third quarter, putting Denver up 7-6. And Will Lutz, fourth quarter field goal, gave the Broncos a 10-9 victory. That's a solid win over the Jets, right?
I think Aaron Rodgers had great numbers again. I didn't see any Breece Hall numbers. It's kind of my team this year is the Jets Jets.
It was pretty wet. I watched a little bit of that game, and it rained the whole game. I mean, it was. They had some bad weather. Inclement weather.
Well, 10-9. That Bronco defense doing the job. Okay, Zach Baird on picking up his 100th career victory. Hoisington beat Southwestern Heights 53-6 in his 11th season at the helm. Zach Baird giving credit to the young men he's coached and a coaching staff that's been pretty consistent over the years. That's always nice to have.
Yeah, you always wait for those guys to have an off year, and they've started this one at 0-3, but a couple other times he's graduated massive, successful classes and comes back and they'll do something like set a school record, 2 state championship berths. Man, a couple years ago, had a chance to make it to the state finals, would have been a favorite, I think. The year they did make it against Rossville, it was right there at the end. Last year was the crazy game in the snow, so he's right there on the doorstep.
Yeah, congratulations to Zach. They will take on Cheney on Friday night. We'll have more on that game and the Cardinals and high school football when Cole Reif joins us in studio tomorrow. Aaron Beck, happy to give his younger players a chance to play quite a bit. 61-7, Great Bend over Wichita North on Friday night. The 2 men who called the game will be chatting more about it. But how many plays did Great Bend run in the first half?
12? It's 11 or 12. They had 3 one-play drives, and then I think they had 2 4-play drives. And if my math is right, that's 11.
I believe in the first quarter it was 3 offensive plays, all for touchdowns, and 2 defensive scores.
Right.
So 35 points.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Was it crisp and clean?
Honestly,
to start the game?
the touchdown plays were very well executed offensive plays. I mean, they had helmets on bodies, and you can't ask for any more, no matter who it is. So, yeah, I mean, they look sharp. They did.
Great Bend at Dodge City on Friday night. Other games in the WAC, Hayes whacked Garden City. Did you get that? Pretty good, isn't it?
Pretty good.
41-8. Dodge City over previously unbeaten Liberal 33-14. Again, Houston over Southwestern Heights. Russell beat Larned 48-28. Sterling and Ellenwood. Ellenwood hadn't given up a point in the first 3 weeks, gave up 41 in this game, but they scored 35. And again, it's Sterling coming out with a narrow win over Ellenwood in something. 41-35 must have been a heck of a game. Ellsworth beat Lyons 48-7. Central Plains, they're 3-1, 52-6 over Solomon. Maxville beat Stafford 26-14. That was a closer game than maybe I would have thought. Maxville's 3-1. Hodgman County's unbeaten. They beat St. John 48-0. Ellis over La Crosse 53-8. A game I had a chance to participate in. Best line of the night, Sean Bear. A booming voice coming out of the stand said, "You're a better broadcaster than you are ref." Okay, appreciate that.
Did you hold your flag?
So your glasses with the mustache and the fake nose? You either
It cost me
forgot
$20. I paid somebody to say that.
La Crosse they're young. They've got some guys hurt. They're going to be all right. They get their first chance at a win against Quinter on Friday night. Victoria rolls past Pretty Prairie. Kinsley over Elkhart. And let's see. Otis Bison did play a game because Chase was supposed to play Burton, but Burton forfeited, and Otis Bison had an open date, so Otis Bison played the first of 2 this year against Chase, winning 64-0. Otis Bison's 3-1 right now. Now they play number 1 ranked and 2-time defending champion Cunningham on Friday night. Peabody Burns beat Pawnee Heights by the score of 58-20. On to college football. The call on Learfield Saturday. Wyatt.
I think he's crying. So happy.
His Avery Johnson man crush is in full bore today.
I noticed that there was a score on the Great Bend Post this week.
Hey. Well, they got beat. I forgot to post those.
Wyatt Thompson on Learfield. Jace Brown catching a 55-yard touchdown pass. That put the Wildcats lead to 21-13 in the first half. They go on to smoke the Cowboys 42-20. K-State now plays at Colorado. They're going to get through their toughest part of the schedule. And, expanded field this year. Here we go. I don't think they don't play Utah, so they will in probably the Big 12 championship game if they get that far. So
BYU may prove to be a legitimate team, but you've got 2 convincing wins over so-called top 20 teams, but the AP put them down at 23. I wonder where Notre Dame was last week.
4.
They're letting Johnson actually run with the football.
But at the end of the game?
Well, that's where it's crazy. But his legs are setting things up where they kind of toned him down. It's almost like, hey, don't run. We don't want to get you beat up. But that's a better offense when Avery Johnson is able to tuck it and take it up the field.
I agree. I mean,
that, and it opened it up. Giddens had a couple of huge runs. He's just so tough and he's shifty. And then Dylan Edwards, unbelievable speed. So I just don't understand how they completely tanked a week ago.
It was on the road. Let me see how they do on the road before I make any comments about K-State football.
Well, Colorado's on the rise.
I understand that. It's on the road, so how they do against Dion will be important to me.
Well, K-State, Utah gets beat by Arizona 23-10. Yeah. See, BYU, they barely got past Baylor 34-28. Good point, Hesh. Good point. Chris Kleiman says when we're all playing together, we're a tough team to beat.
Anybody check out that Georgia-Alabama game? It's what, 21-0 early on, turned it off?
It's 30-7 at halftime. That's when I turned it off. Started watching a little Designated Survivor.
Did that take anything away from the game that, the losers still, although it helped Georgia that they
took a lead late. I wanted to say, what did Greg Sakey get on the phone at halftime and say, hey, we want both of you guys to stay top 5, lay off. And then it backfired as Georgia takes the lead. Well, you don't turn on Emily in Paris when you get disgruntled. with
Sharks in
football?
Paris. That I told you that's the ones. Total B movie about sharks.
So there you go. Sounds of the weekend. Francisco Lindor's just made another out, so there you go. I know that no one cares about it except everyone in IUCN listening on KRAP radio.
We're full of it.
Mike Hesher.
Yo.
Sean Bair coming up next on Sports Day.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
Working the land is by nature a dirty job. What fuels me to get it done? The generations of farmers who've worked the soil before me. What fuels my equipment? Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster, a premium diesel fuel with an additive package that's 40% more effective at breaking down engine deposits. The cleanest fuel yet for the dirtiest of jobs. Cenex Ruby Fieldmaster, fueled by innovation, powered to perform.
Contact American Plains Co-op Fuel Department in Great Bend, your certified Cenex distributor.
Discover textbook freedom with Barton Community College's new low-cost degree pathway. With Pathway certified online courses, you get the Barton guaranteed option that your textbooks and course materials will cost $50 or less per class. Whether you want to earn your associate degree or transfer credits to a 4-year university, Barton offers flexible online courses and personalized support. Achieving your goals is now easier and more affordable. Learn more at textbookfreedom.bartonccc.edu.
For the past 13 years, Sports Day has been the show devoted to local sports and local athletes. And it's all brought to you by Barton Community College and the Cougar Athletic Department.
And welcome back to Sports Day. Mike Hesher taking over the role of guidance counselor, or however you want to say this. I'm not sure what this job is, but trying to control the masses is what I'm thinking.
I like it.
Sean Bair and Mike Corson is also over there since he was at the game, and he's handling the streaming right now. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, Great Bend 61, Wichita North 7. Kind of what we expected from Friday night.
Well, and it was. But, you know, the thing is the Panthers did what you have to do to a team that comes in with nothing to lose. You jump on them early, and you stick them so far down the hole that they can't see sunlight. And that's exactly what Great Bend did. They came out, they scored several, 3 one-play drives. So 1 snap, touchdown, and then their defense goes out, creates turnovers, and scores. So all of a sudden, before the clock really completely, went one time around, it was like they were already down 31-0, or do the math, 28-0.
35.
35-0.
I can recap right quick. So Jay Sharks went 55 yards, and they scored with 9:31 to play first quarter. They're up 7-0. Then Trent Kern got the fumble recovery for a touchdown at the 7:19 mark of the first quarter. You're talking 14-0. And then we have a question. Was it a pass or was it a handoff?
100% pass.
We can tell you are a quarterback, Sean Bair,
Yes.
because I think Mike Corson said on that touchdown flip from Minton to Hayden.
Yeah, real time. I'm looking through a long lens, so I can't see. So I thought it was a run play. I did hear Sean's call later, but because I couldn't confirm it, I
flipped
went
it forward.
with
He did flip it forward.
Like a shovel. It was like a shovel pass. And those are touchdowns.
I will wait till Coach Beck stats it.
I was going to say the same thing. Sorry, Sean. We're not questioning you.
I actually gave Beck $5 to go into the box after the game and double up and say, yep, that was a touchdown pass.
Alrighty. That made it 21-0. And then Hayden Kelly got a 38-yard pass from Cooper Omott. That was the one where they bounced it over there on 2 bounces instead of 1. And that made it 28-0. And that made it 35-0. And then the 28-yard pass from Minton to Cooper Omott made it 42-0, and that was I guess that was right before halftime.
Did you get Hall's score?
Yes.
The bat and scat I think is what we called it.
Okay, so now is that an interception since it never touched the ground? Is it a fumble?
It was a backward lateral. So therefore, it's a running play. See, it's not a forward pass. That's a lateral. We better get Wetzel on the line to verify.
Randy Wetzel, where are you at?
Yeah, no, if it's backwards, it's a live football if nobody catches it, so it's a fumble. If he would have thrown it forward, if Dax Minton throws that and we don't catch the little flip, it bounces off and hits the ground, it's an incomplete pass. So therefore, it has to be a pass.
It'd be just like if somebody was running the ball and you stripped it, nobody's arguing because it didn't touch the ground, it's an interception. It just happened to be kind of in the airish, really quick.
A fantastic play for a guy that's got the nose for the football right now, Jacob Hall.
So curious talking to people on the sideline, you're trying to tell people, no, these guys lose by an average of 64 points a game. Well, I can see us winning by 40. How can we possibly score 65 points a game? Both sides of the ball, complete domination. You don't expect 3 and outs with losses on most of the plays, and then basically 3 plays untouched offensively. It was kind of surreal.
You know, you just want to give those guys on the other sideline a little bit of credit. They had a lot of 9s and 10s in their program, meaning a lot of young football players out there that were playing varsity, and those guys had lived through Derby, who Derby is absolutely a powerhouse this year in 6A. They lived through Capon. Capon, again, last year knocked us out of the playoffs. One other game that
Liberals this year.
Liberal. So, you know, Liberals touted as another powerhouse, and then they come to Great Bend. I mean, those young guys from Wichita North have taken on the cream of the crop east or west of I-70 without question, or I-35, excuse me, I-35 without question. And that, you know, hey, that says something. If he can keep those numbers out at Wichita North, there's a very good chance that becomes a very good football team. You know, that's a tough city league.
It is, and now you kind of got the transfer portal that's open in Kansas, and especially in Wichita where all the schools are close together. So we were talking on the sideline. I also respect the coaches because they weren't, I mean, it was over 2 plays in, but they were still going, trying to get the kids fired up. It's unfortunate that Wichita South is a 6A program because if you looked, Olathe South had more kids than that, and they only brought half their team a couple weeks ago. So even though it's by population a 6A school, the football program is not your standard 80 kids to pick from.
Absolutely, because they peel off so many of those players to play soccer. You know, the Wichita North is a heck of a soccer program.
Well, and imagine if you had a stud athlete, if your mom and dad, are you going to let him play at Wichita North that hasn't won a game in 6 years, or are you going to send him across town to Northwest or East?
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. You know, we've heard of players actually moving in with older siblings across town, and that's how they're establishing residency in Wichita, and they're jumping schools. So it is what it is.
Let's see. Willie Cauley-Stein went from
Spearville
to Kansas City to live with Will Shields. Several years ago. Okay.
Weird things happen.
Yes, they do. Okay, he's talking about Wichita North. I was impressed with their backup quarterback, Cameron Short. He came in and played well. Granted, it was against the second and third string, but he looked like a decent quarterback.
Well, and again, I think he was a junior also.
Correct.
And so he came in and he stood in the pocket, stepped up in the pocket, delivered the ball where it was supposed to be delivered, did a great job. You know, their quarterback, help me out there, Alvarez. He actually wasn't a bad quarterback. Our defensive line just put so much pressure on that guy. You know, that's tough when you drop back and all of a sudden you're shedding guys and you haven't even planted on your 3 to 4 step drop, and you're shedding guys trying to look up the field and chuck it down there and hope for the best. So,
and being field level, it was interesting to see that. I think Brody Schnoblin made it in the backfield in most plays, and I left after the first quarter, but he was in the backfield at least 3 times. But I remember one time Alvarez kind of jukes a guy, and as soon as he takes 1 step forward, it was either Kern or Schnoblin right there to greet him. Pretty hefty, stood him right up, and it was like no breathing room whatsoever. And
that's Kel Kern. Kel Kern came across, and Schnoblin, actually there was one time, Kel Kern and big brother Trent Kern, TK, they both just, I think, one shoulder on each side of this poor kid and leveled him. So that's in fact, I saw a little post where that made Mama happy. You know, that's a football family right there. I'd hate to see their grocery bill, but that's a football family.
Okay, quick couple updates for Great Bend. I was impressed with Josh Burney. He ran the ball well. He looked explosive as a second or third string running back for Great Bend.
And he's shifty.
Yes.
He's shifty. When he decides to plant the foot, he gets vertical. That's that skinny run that you and I were talking about early. When he plants the foot, he's not going to try to bounce it to the outside. Just tucks it and gets skinny.
And then Ian Priemer on his kickoff return. I saw this in the Jamboree. He gets a look, I'm not going down. And that's kind of what it looked like to me on the kickoff return. He was gonna score no matter what.
I think there were 7 guys, because I on the air I said every one of the defenders at least touched him. I think there were 7 guys that literally had a hand on his jersey, and he was able to high step, bounce, twist.
They stiff arm the last person. The last was about the 35.
Yeah. And then he's got the speed, you know. So awesome job. Hey,
and who knew he was a kicker?
yeah. I'm not sure he did. He sure was happy about that, wasn't he?
It looked good though. I mean, it went.
Yeah. What about Kelly? I mean, he had a heck of a game. 2 touchdowns,
and he goes unnoticed. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, he had. Yes, you are correct. I'll looking at my notes here. He did have the. He was the recipient of the pass.
It was a pass.
It was a pass. And then also, let's see. I just saw where he had the other one. It was the fumble recovery that he took in for the touchdown. Correct.
Well, I thought it was the pass from the double pass.
Okay, you are right. I got my numbers confused here, but he's the one that won't come on the air because he don't want to talk.
Well, that's great. That's great.
He does his talking on the field.
Yeah. Well, Jacob Hall's the same way, and those guys, you know, between the 2 of them, you get them on here, it could just be like a moment of silence, a show of silence.
Well, I didn't tell you what they did to me last year. So Cody Miller was the running back last year. They took bets on how many words he would say. They brought him in for the show. I was hosting. They said, how many words is he going to say? The over and under was like 6. I mean, it was.
Give me the rock. 4.
Okay, well, it was like.
Watch this.
Yeah, come on, Coach Beck. Really? Bring in someone. Okay, coming up, Dodge City. We talked a little bit about them. They're 3-1. I watched a little bit of video this morning. They look to be a very explosive team.
Well, and here's the deal. You're turning the corner now. We get into the WAC. And for the longest time, the WAC always took a little bit of jiving. You know, the WAC's not very tough, this, that, and the other. Hey, you look at Dodge, you look at Garden, you look at Hayes, Great Bend, and Dodge City. Liberal, excuse me.
It's going to be fun.
The WAC's going to be a barn burner.
Yes, it is.
So I'm excited. I'm going to take you to it's called Dos Tacos.
Okay.
It's a food truck in the True Value parking lot at Dodge City, and I'm going to take you there, and we're going to have some pregame tacos.
Tacos before the game?
Well, we're going to make sure we know where the restrooms are.
Okay.
You've got Billy Sims right off the main drag.
It's close to Billy Sims, but I'm telling you hit this taco place. Oh, yeah.
And you got to eat before the game because everything's closed by the time you get out of there.
That's
crazy for Dodge City.
Exactly
that is kind of nuts.
Yeah, so I put in for the Dodge Great Bend game, and I was told, no, it's going to be another blowout. So I'm going to go try to resell this game as I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but I think it's going to be, on paper, it looks like a good game.
I think it's going to be who can stand and get back up after taking it on the chin 2 or 3 times. And, you know, that's the last man standing. This is going to be the WAC. That's going to be the story of the WAC football games from here out for Great Bend.
And I do think a big difference for Great Bend this year is defensively. Still no legitimate second half touchdowns. That was JV against varsity-ish this week. I think that's going to be a big thing, a big difference maker in games like Hayes and Dodge City and even Liberal.
All right, that's going to wrap it up. We thank you, Mike Corson and Sean Bear. Sports Day is brought to you by the Great Bend Recreation Commission, dedicated to improving our community and the lives of its individuals, and by Freedom Claims Management, innovative health care plans for your business. Let them take care of everything from you for start to finish and continued support. They have you covered. Steve Webster right back with more of Sports Day on 1590 95.5 FM.
From the Mayo Money Management Studios, 1590 KVGB Great Bend and 95.5 FM K238CK Hoisington.
If you're needing a health care plan for your business, let the experienced and dedicated staff at Freedom Claims Management Incorporated customize a health insurance plan that fits your business's need. Regardless if you're a large corporation or a small business on Main Street, Freedom Claims Management Incorporated can help you provide your employees with great health coverage at an affordable cost. Visit freedomclaimsinc.com where you can schedule a free, no obligation health assessment today. Freedom Claims Management Incorporated in Great Bend. Sports.
Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, and today I wanted to visit with you about the power of a multi-doctor practice. And the power of a multi-doctor practice is we can serve many different people, many different personalities. The power of a multi-doctor practice is we have a lot of horsepower here, a lot of people. We can get a lot done. We can say yes, we can get you taken care of. The other cool thing about a multi-doctor practice is we're all different personalities, we're all different makes and models. Dr. Nels here, Animal Medical Center, large or small, we take care of them all.
He's passionate about his high school sports and his trendy sports apparel. Sports Day presents the Great Bend Tribune's Jim Masunas.
Welcome back to Sports Day here on KVGB. Show brought to you in part by Equity Bank, adding value for our customers and communities. Equity Bank in Great Bend, Hoisington, and Larned. And by Marmy Auto Group on 10th Street in Great Bend. I guess I could give an update on the Iuka Hustlers, but since Hesh left my mic open during the break, you all heard. So Michael Harris does not get a stolen base. Ozzie Albies hits a 2-run homer. So the Mets right now up 2-0 in the third inning in the MLB playoffs. Jim Masunas in with us. How you doing, Jimbo?
Hey, good. Good afternoon.
Royals in the playoffs?
Yeah, it was nice to see the White Sox come through and pull out a victory or two. The White Sox had an interesting statistic going for them. They were 0-94 when trailing after 7 innings. Then they came back and won a game. So they ended that streak and then ended up losing 121.
Well, you still give them, Detroit. Who's going to win this thing?
Yeah, baseball is really tricky because teams get hot. It comes down to one at bat, or when the Royals won their World Series, it was a miraculous World Series getting to the finish line. And same with the Cubs in 2016. They were down and out in Cleveland, and they came back and 3-1 deficit and came back and won. So baseball's really, really tricky to predict. Very hard.
High school football on Friday. Great Bend gets an easy win. Some of the other takeaways you had from the Friday night on the gridiron.
Well, the game I was really watching was Ellenwood and Sterling, and they always have a nice video over there at Ellenwood, and you can watch the replays and that. And last year, Ellenwood scored with less than a minute left, and I think it was 30 seconds left, so they were going to win. Sterling goes 65, 75 yards in the last 3 plays and beats them. So this time, Ellenwood's up 21-12, looks pretty good. 6 touchdowns in the fourth quarter, and Sterling comes back and scores 27 points in the fourth quarter. Wow. And Halls comes back and beats him again. But it was a tremendous game. Ellenwood quarterback Landon Simpson is a terrific athlete. He seems like he gets a punt return or an interception return every week, and he's their fastest player at quarterback, so he gives them a running dimension, and is a really nice passer, too. So Ellenwood will still be a factor, but that is such a tough district with Conway Springs in there and Medicine Lodge. It's really a very good district.
And they will get South Sumner County, which is, in Caldwell.
Yeah, and Hutch Trinity beat them in overtime. So, it's always hard to tell. It's a long trip for South Sumner to Ellenwood, so that's a nice advantage. But, yeah, Ellenwood's got to win that one. They got to beat Hutch Trinity and try to finish in the top 4 there.
I know the guys were talking a little bit about the Western Athletic Conference. Dodge City takes care of Liberal, who kind of had a fairly easy schedule to start the year, but to win 33-14. And Hayes is bombing Garden City 41-8. So challenge on the road for Great Bend on Friday night.
Yeah, both those scores really surprised me, more or less the margin of victory, because I didn't think Liberal had played very good schedule, but that's an impressive victory by Dodge. And then Hayes had played a terrific schedule. Played Manhattan to the final play of the game, and so I was surprised by the margin, but not the fact that Hayes won. So yeah, Hayes and Dodge City for sure are going to be tough games, and this is really pretty much it. Is you go on the road for 2 weeks, go to Dodge and Liberal the next 2 weeks, and that'll pretty much set up a showdown with Hayes for the title, I would imagine.
Yeah, there you go. They're already looking ahead to that. They do have to take care of Dodge City. Zach Baird gets win number 100, and he hasn't been over there that long. And I'm sure he's glad that this is over with, so we don't keep saying, well, he's trying to get 100 again. But congratulations to Zach Baird and that program.
Yeah, I asked him a while back, and he would have traded all those a lot of those wins for number 100 last November on a wintry, snowy day in Salina. He said he would have traded a lot of those wins for just that one more win because it would have meant a state championship for Hoisington. But, yeah, they've overcome injuries to their starting best all-state defensive back, Jason Robinson, and now their all-league kicker, Taylor Morales, didn't play. So without two of their most talented players. So, yeah, credit to Hoisington and the fact that, hey, your backups have to step up, just like the Chiefs. You get guys hurt, your backup tailback's got to play, your backup receivers have got to play. That's what football's great, is that your backups have a chance, an opportunity, and they got to take advantage of that.
Cheney comes to town on Friday.
Boy, what a challenge for Hoisington.
Yeah, well, you just get past this one. It's a work in progress, and then just get as healthy as you can and pick up some wins going into the postseason, see what happens.
Yeah, you know that the Cardinals will compete. Is it their homecoming? I would imagine it probably is.
No, I think their homecoming game is like the last.
Oh, wow.
It's weird, senior nights before homecoming. I can't confirm that, but no, it's not homecoming this week.
Yeah, you don't want to schedule homecoming like Hutch High with Derby coming in. That's
probably
that's
not
a good thing. But no, I think Hoisington, they'll compete and they'll give it a go. But yeah, Cheney, such a terrific coaching by Cheney to beat Andale twice in a year. Last year was amazing. Just really about it as amazing a feat I've seen in high school Kansas football in a long, long time.
Well, Andale needs to be careful this week because they get Nickerson.
Yeah, well, they got 100 last time. That was my son's famous photo. He sent me a photo of the game at Nickerson that was 0-0. I said, how in the heck is that going on? Well, the scoreboard didn't have a 1 on it, so it's 0-0.
Otis Bison 3-1. Kind of some rescheduling. Otis Bison had the week off, but then Chase had their game scheduled with Burton. Burton forfeits, so they went ahead and played the first of two. Cunningham. It's kind of interesting. Cunningham now with 6-man. They've got in the mid-20s on the number of kids that are out for football now. But they love that 6-man football.
Yeah, they've got some talent down there. They won the title 2 years ago and was runner-up last year, so that's a tremendous program down there at Cunningham. But I think Otis Bison will be a factor in that district, and they'll have a chance to perhaps win some playoff games. They're got a quality quarterback in Hoopin Gardner and a good receiver in Kelson Juneau, and they got a nice little offensive package for the Cougars this year.
It is interesting. I had a conversation with an assistant coach with Ellis on Friday night. They were at La Crosse, and Ellis rolls out there they have special teams out on the field before the game, and then they bring out everybody else. They probably 30 or 31 players. And I asked him, man, you got good numbers. And, of course, Ellis went to 8-man football this year. And he said, yeah, and I know what people are going to say, but when we were playing 11-man, we didn't have kids that wanted to come out. Maybe if you're going up against the Nortons and Plainvilles of the MC, I thought it was an interesting comment on that because he said if they'd have still played 11-man, they would not have that many kids out.
And you've seen the level. There's some tremendous 8-man players, and there's really, really good players. And you move that over to 11-man, there's still some pretty good players on the field, but you just don't maybe have as many. But you see the quality of 8-man. You see 8-man teams that definitely could compete at the 11-man level.
Yeah, but you come out there with 30 people, and you're not 11-man anymore. You're 8-man. But interesting comment. I had never thought of that, but
yeah, it's probably true. And then success has a lot to do with that.
Sure. Okay. What else is on your plate today, Jim Mazunas?
Well, we'll see. Winding down the tennis seasons. They get going here with their league meets and the regionals here in a week or so. And Great Bend's had a competitive season, and Central Plains has done very well too, and so has Ellenwood's had their moments too. So tennis season gets winding down, and volleyball, Hoisington is 23-2. They were ranked number 8. I would imagine they'll probably move up this week. They won their home tournament 5-0, and have a tremendous player in Sophia Simic, and have a really strong team in the Central Kansas. And then Ellenwood had beaten Little River, the 2-time state champion, 1A, early in the season, and then Little River beat them Saturday at Lions for the championship. So Ellenwood, again, They've lost 2 matches. They had a 15-match winning streak snapped Saturday. Has a tremendous season 2A. So they're hoping just to get away from Inman, which I think they will when the sub-states should be coming out here shortly for volleyball.
Looking forward to that. On the college gridiron, K-State made quite a statement with Oklahoma State beating them like that. Utah goes down in their game to Arizona, a team that the Cats had beat in week 2. Now K-State goes to Colorado, who's now 4-1. Man, you get that one, and then that schedule kind of eases up a little bit for K-State.
Yeah, it's going to be a lot bigger game than people might have imagined because Colorado's played very well. Their defense has played much better, and their offense is always there with their quarterback and their passing game. So we'll see what Colorado does this week. But, yeah, the Big 12 is exactly what people expected. It's very competitive and on a week-to-week basis. I mean, I was not surprised BYU won. I mean, that was a quality team that K-State played 2 weeks ago. I was somewhat surprised that Utah lost, but their offense is very mediocre at best. Their defense is very competitive, but when you're playing without your starting quarterback, it just shows you there's oftentimes a drop-off. And it's just simply tough. And in Kansas, another tough loss. I mean,
wow.
4 consecutive 1-score losses, 4 consecutive games where you're in the game in the fourth quarter and lose, and just a tough season for the Jayhawks. And it's just been, I mean, everything that could go wrong. I mean, they couldn't get replays in their favor, which shows a huge momentum. The difference between a 20-yard catch and an incomplete pass is huge, and they just were very, very unlucky in that game Saturday.
Okay, so classification changes this week. Really nothing that
nothing that really came to mind other than Topeka Hayden moving back to 4A. It was the only one I saw. That you always look at the private schools, and collegiate went up to 4A for 1 year, and supposedly whoever keeps track of enrollment had to find a new job next year. So that's sort of the fervor that those private schools.
Well, Bishop Miege once again, though, tops the 4A.
4A, and then McPherson's the next 4A. Yeah. So the 5A teams are happy that Miege is 4A. The 4A teams probably not quite as happy.
Yeah, you see some of those schools that are, right on the bubble right now. I mean, Pratt Greenbacks now, they're moving down. They're getting closer to, moving out of 4A into 3A. But
it used to be all those teams in the old Mid-State used to be all 4A, and now very few of them are 4A. Pratt may be it now.
Interesting to see some of the schools that are 0-4 right now. Smith Center.
Yeah, that hasn't happened since anybody in Smith Center can remember.
Lacrosse. And TMP gets a chance to play Smith Center. You'd have to go back and dust off. You'd have to go back in the library and find those old college or high school annuals, yearbooks to find out the last time something like that happened.
Yeah, that's why it was fun when Ellenwood had 3 shutouts. You were looking it up in a good way. Hey, we got some good history going. And on a sad note, the grandson was up for homecoming king at Nickerson, and he finished runner-up.
Oh, God.
It was pretty. It wasn't sad. I mean, you just like to have that.
Oh, you weren't that parent up there who said, that's not right.
No, I wanted the announcer to go back and say, no, that can't be right. No, and I didn't blame the announcer. The announcer actually did a nice job. So the homecoming king candidate said that's who he thought would win, the candidate who ended up winning. So he had a good pulse on the voting process, I guess.
Jim Mazunas, Great Bend Tribune. Thanks for coming in, Jim. We'll talk to you next Monday.
Well, you're welcome.
Okay, Sports Day brought to you in part by Eller Automotive Repair, where they specialize in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes of and models of cars and small trucks. And the Animal Medical Center in Great Bend. Big or small, they take care of them all. Mike Corson talking to Lyles Lashley next on Sports Day.
Hey everyone, this is Cole Wright, voice of the Barton Cougars. Attending sporting events for Barton Community College is great, but did you know you can support the athletic teams even further by getting involved with the Cougar Booster Club? The Boosters help with fundraising for equipment and facility upgrades to give Barton athletes every opportunity to keep succeeding at the regional and national levels. Join the Cougar Booster Club as an individual or business. Call 620-792-9377. Become a booster today. Go Cougars.
When it comes to car maintenance, it's good to know a local guy that can get things done. The Eller family has been in the auto repair business in Great Bend forever. Greg Eller continues that long tradition of helping people. Eller Automotive Repair specializes in wheel alignments, oil changes, and general maintenance for all makes and models of cars and small trucks. Open 8 to 5 Monday through Thursday, 8 to 4 Fridays. Eller Automotive Repair at 915 Morton, right behind Great Bend Appliance, Furniture, and Sleep Source, 10th and Morton.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec.
Sports, leisure, fitness and wellness, even senior and adaptive needs. It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Pick up a program guide or stop by the rec office at 1214 Stone in Great Bend. Or check out the website, greatbendrec.com. Live, play, explore at the rec.
It's all here at Great Bend Rec. Live, play, explore at the rec.
Sports Day presents On the Prowl with Mike Corson, an inside look at all the sports taking place at Great Bend High School.
Welcome back to Sports Day, 1590 KVGB 95.5 FM. Mike Corson joined today by Panther cross-country coach Lyles Lashley. About went on a different song today with the retirement of Charlie Blackman after 13 years of using that song out in Colorado.
I saw his parents threw out that first pitch to the last game. I thought it was pretty cool.
I think they threw a strike. And then Hesher called you out and said, that's who the song really belongs to, not Lyles Lashley.
Wow, I see how Hesh is. I thought we were tight. No more A2 failure jambalaya for him.
Make him pay for it.
Absolutely.
You guys were up in Rimrock outside Lawrence again this year. We'll talk about a few things, but I'll start off with we knew probably who was going to win it, your two Salina Central girls and Topeka Siemens' Ryan Miller. So I was looking at times. We're just a few weeks into this season. They're already faster than both last year's Rimrock meets and last year's state championship race up there. How good is that just for the progression of cross country in Kansas?
Oh, I think the fact that they race each other definitely helps out now. I think those three are just on a different level. It's unbelievable watching them run. I mean, it was that even before the mile mark, there was so much separation between the two, or those three and the rest of the pack. It was just unreal. I mean, there's some really good girls in that pack, behind trail pack, and I mean, they're a complete minute ahead of them.
And when we talk about it's always a loaded meet because you're getting a lot of regional teams come in. The problem for me was, you've had your top three finishers were all 5A girls, and then most of your best Kansas schools there were all 5A kids. What's that mean for Great Bend?
Well, I just think, just the 5A is unreal. And even you look at the boys' side, the first three teams on the boys' side were 5A schools. So it just looked crazy, the 5A level competition. I think most people would probably rather be 6A now than 5A.
It's getting that way. Individually for you guys, or team-wise, 14th overall, given the level of competition that was there. Pretty pleased with 14th?
Yeah, I thought coming in that, that'd be about, if we made the top 10, I thought it'd be great. 14th around there, we beat some really good schools, and we were definitely beat by some really good schools. Some traditional powerhouses in the Midwest. Ankeny, I can never say them. They're always good. Millard West is great. Denver East is a traditional powerhouse in Colorado. I think they've won state quite a few years. Christ Prep, I have no idea who they were, but they got to be somewhere for some. And Edmond Memorial is always a power in Oklahoma. And then Ames High School, who barely beat us, is a power in Iowa. So, to go through there and compete against those best schools, and we could have gone and run the blue or the Crimson division this year since we had lost 4 of the top 6, but the girls didn't want to do that. They wanted to compete against the best. So it was a good day. I mean, we definitely could have a lot to improve on, but that's a good, it's kind of where we're at, and you're like, okay, we got 5 weeks to get here, so what are we going to do?
Talking to Panther cross-country coach Lyles Lashley. So, I don't always know if this is a good thing, but different leader for you guys. So I think you've had 3 leaders this year. This week it was sophomore Bella Long with the best run for you guys. How about that?
Yeah, it was nice to see her hard work has paid off this school year, or from the summer and the school year. I've never seen somebody put a summer together like she has. Definitely an unbelievable summer. And I was really happy for her to see the hard work pay off.
On the boys' side, yeah, you guys did run in the Crimson race. Just kind of what is the difference there? Because I would have thought Holcomb, which won the Crimson race, would have been up in the gold race. What kind of decides that?
You can pick your own divisions, and the gold division is for your big schools that are more your traditional powerhouses, that type of thing. The smaller schools, or the Crimson division is more for your mid-level schools, your bigger schools that aren't quite as accomplished as the other ones, and some of your small schools that want to move up and run against the big boys. I mean, your blue division is more of your small schools and that type of stuff, where your up and coming schools that are or your bad. Let's put it this way: your bad bigger schools.
Interesting. So I was at the football game Friday night. Got to see Diego Pasos, homecoming king. I'm guessing you guys were already in Lawrence. So how about him driving up there and leading the way on Saturday?
Yeah, it was. It's his first time ever run that course, and just like most of our guys on our team, it's their first time. We have so many freshmen. There's a few surprises out there for you if you haven't run the course before and did a run through. But he did well, competed well, especially this week. He had 2 soccer games, so he didn't really get to practice a whole lot with us this week. Mainly, he practiced on Monday with us, and then was soccer the rest of the week, and then came Saturday, and then performed well.
And then, speaking of that youth, you've got a freshman, Isaac Aldana, that was second behind him. Your kiddo, Brogan Lashley, the freshman, then 2 other sophomores, Anthony Lawrence and Parker Coleman. So just how vital is that experience to maybe see that course?
It's great for them. And then we have, all the JV kids are mainly freshmen. So, it's nice to have those kids. And they were excited about running the course, too, for the first time. It was nice for them to see that course and to see the atmosphere too of all those people being there. And I mean, I think there's probably 3,000 runners between all the things, and it's just cool for them to get there and see that stuff.
And where do the Panthers head this week?
We're heading to Bishop Carroll, which has now turned into a huge meet. Also, I think on the girls' side it'll be us and Capon and Bishop Carroll. And then Washburn Rural, I think I saw is going to be there. A lot of the WAC schools will be there also. So it should be it used to be like 4 or 5 teams now. It's kind of like our meet. It's kind of exploded too into this huge meet. So it should be a nice little test on a flat course and early in the morning on a Saturday. So it should be some good running.
Panther cross country coach Laz Lashley, thanks for joining us and good luck Saturday.
Thank you, Mike. Appreciate you having us on.
More Sports Day after this.
Community bankers should actually know your community. Hi, I'm Sean Powelson, president of your local Equity Bank. As someone who lives here, I know many of you, and I know what's important to you. I've been in the industry a long time, and I've helped many navigate through financial challenges and lead them to financial opportunities. I believe that people bank with people, so I'd like to invite you to stop by one of our region's 5 locations and meet our friendly, helpful staff. Let us show you our commitment to serving you and our communities. Because at Equity Bank, we're right here beside you. Member FDIC.
All right, that's it for the Monday show here on Sports Day. Tomorrow, high school football talk. Cole Reif will be joining us. Also, Barton volleyball coach Megan Bessiker. They picked up a sweep over Hutch over the weekend. Let's see, can you say national champion? Yeah, they're right up there in contention right now. Exciting times. And Mike Horson goes on the prowl for Panther Sports. That's the Tuesday Sports Day show. Royals in the playoffs tomorrow afternoon, 2:30, right here on KVGB.